One of the things I was going to spend my Sound Exchange money on was fixing my computer so I can use my actual mic and camera setup again. Yeah, but I'm getting paid on Friday, so hopefully I'll be able to grab it out of that. We'll see how much my computer costs to fix.
That's really good. You know what else we're going to do? Start the show proper this time.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. That's all.
1,000 apologies, everyone. No, I meant to start it properly this time. Come on.
Suck like being trying so rave. Welcome to the end.
Ashley, what are you noshing on?
I got myself some chocolate.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Easter baby.
Easter chocolate? Easter chocolate? What type of Easter chocolate are you having?
It's not Easter chocolate, it's just chocolate, but
It's the Wednesday after Easter chocolate, John. Come on.
yeah, what have you guys been up to since Sunday?
It was my birthday.
How did that go?
Oh, yeah, Chris.
What did you do in the end?
Chris, you know what I got you for your birthday, Chris?
What's that?
The start of the show.
Oh no, the Canadians are coming.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
I could see you making that face the whole time, Chris, and I was just like, "What's he gonna do here? What's the end game? What's the play here?"
Oh, just continuation. A lot of the times, my favorite jokes are just me doing something for way too long until everyone's mad but me.
I can make a really funny joke about like all your you be like, that's your whole comedy career. That's my new guy. You like my
That
new
was
guy?
a really funny joke.
Roasting,
Accented by a well-timed pose.
Yeah, my new roasting professor character.
Professor McRoasterson.
Oh yeah, that's right. Professor Jeff McRoasterson.
Yeah. Tenured.
Hey Ashley,
Can't fire him.
Is that chocolate in your mouth, or are you eating poo?
Oh, she scooped it out with her weird gloves.
Oh yeah. Can we revisit the gloves, please? I'm fascinated.
Sure.
What
Sure. Just
okay. The gloves
fine.
are for dusty and dirty areas. Oh, here we go.
Look at that.
But here's my question for you.
It's well, okay. I've been working out I got them because I've been working out in a distillery for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And one of the first things we have to do is the bottles that have been brought in all have a tiny little label on them so that we know what whiskey it is that's been put into the bottle.
Mm.
Oh,
that label has to be removed before you can put the actual designer labels on.
Okay.
The actual whiskey labels on. So you have to use glue remover. And if I showed you the state of the gloves at the end of the day and just the amount of grime and dirt on them, you'd just be like, it. Even if you didn't have the ridiculous crepe paper thin skin that I have that's allergic to everything, you just don't want all of that gross stuff on your hands, on your skin all day.
Especially since we all know that glue remover is 90% jizz.
Oh my God, imagine. No, that wouldn't make any sense. Because as we all know that jizz meets water is one of the stickiest substances on the planet. It's the opposite. It's nature's glue.
Yeah, but you use it dry. It's like that powder that gymnasts put on.
Oh my God, there's nothing worse than dry powdered cum.
I used
you
that
say
as
that?
a roast
That's a
joke.
$1 million idea.
I used that as a roast joke against you.
How so? Go
Do you
ahead.
not remember? We did the roast battle on here. And
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember
one
that
of
we did.
one of the jokes I had was that you looked like you'd been conceived from dried semen.
That's a good joke. That's funny.
Good joke. Originally written about Ryan Cullen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys have the same. You're in that same kind of. Yeah, it worked for both of you.
Was that the one we did 12 hours? Was that the mega stream that was
Yeah.
12 hours long?
Yeah, that was
Holy
with your weed buddy. What's his name?
We
Frank
um,
Castillo.
Frank
we had
Castillo. Yeah.
We had Suze Kempner and we had Elliot Steele.
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah. And yeah, they were our judges. Oh my god, that thing went on for
Yeah.
like Elliot was on for like 4 hours because we
Yeah.
did a pre-roast like 2.5 hours.
And we did a quiz as well.
Oh
And
my
he
god.
I think.
I just remembered Elliot gave me the same response that one of my old agents gave me, which was, I'm sure that's funny, but I'm too dumb to understand it.
Which one of your old agents said that? That's my.
What
this is
was
what I
the
got.
joke?
The first agent. I think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
something about. It wasn't a great joke, but it was about John's therapist, and the punchline was, "How do you treat the man who has everything?"
Oh yeah, that was very
and-
good.
Yeah, and it was I remember that was what Elliot said. I remember Frank had like a delayed reaction, and they went, "Oh, nice," and Elliot was just like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fairly common. I told you about the best post-show remark I've ever gotten. Right after a bomb,
Go ahead.
I was in this little pub in Kent. This show cost me 10 other shows by the same promoter. That's how badly it went. He canceled a whole run of shows.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Name and
this is.
shame. Name and shame.
I can't. It's called Out of Bounds Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let's put this guy into context for you. He runs gigs in golf clubs exclusively in the Kent region.
Okay.
I remember the acts were kind of graded on the week. He was like, "You're more of a Thursday or Friday act, not Saturday." And I was like, "No idea what that means.
Okay.
Whatever you'd like." That's who we're dealing with.
I remember he got mad at me afterwards. He sent me this when he canceled all the shows. He was like mad at me, and he's like, "My wife said that when she paid you, you didn't hang around afterwards." And I was like, "Listen, I'm sorry if that's how it came across, but I had just bombed so phenomenally that your wife didn't seem like she wanted to talk to me." And he went, "You know what? Fair enough. That's fair." And it was it's a story that I tell a lot because it was a very like definitive bomb where 20 minutes killed there the last time I was there. And for some reason this time
So he'd seen you before.
he'd seen me before. Yeah. So he was really like, "What happened?" I was like, "Honestly, I don't know. It's the same jokes you saw me murder with. It was the same set, just bombed." And they were like, so it was, I bombed for 19 and a half minutes. And then I stopped for a second, 20-minute set. I stopped and I went, "Listen, guys," because they were like mad. And I was like, "Listen, guys, I understand I'm not the comedian you wanted. If I'm honest, you're not the crowd I wanted either. And like, but listen, I don't wish you any will. It's just a difference in taste. That's okay. You're going to love the rest of the comics. How about I tell you one silly joke just before I go?
Oh no.
It'll just be something fun and I'll leave." And they all kind of like calm down. They were like, "He understands. He's right. Okay." And they're all on my side again. And then I told
What
that one
was
silly
this
joke and they hated that too. They hated that joke too. Just dead silence. And I just laughed and walked off stage.
Do you remember who else was on this lineup?
Mark Simmons was hosting and destroyed.
shit.
They wanted puns. They wanted like clever wordplay stuff.
Okay.
And that's not what I do. And it's best exemplified by the comment that I got after the show where a guy came up to me and I was waiting to get paid. And a guy came up to me, he was really nice, but he was just like, "Hey man, you seem nice. It's just, we don't really like to think."
That's, you know what? You don't want that audience though.
At all. But it was such
I
a
respect
sweet
it.
moment of like absolute honesty. He's like, "Nah, that's
Yeah.
not what we do."
I have to jump
Wow.
off because I have a headphone issue that I thought was going to resolve itself.
And your
Mhm.
Both of you
dumplings.
But both of you are coming in, but it's like laser beam noises occasionally, and it really
Okay.
hurts. So I need to fix this.
Oh, his audio's at warp speed.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the wildest, most honest things And he didn't say it with any shame. There was no sense of like,
No.
because there was no Elliot to it. There was no, I'm too dumb to understand this. He was like, we don't even want to understand your jokes. We're not interested.
You know what? That guy knows who he is and what he wants, and I kind of respect it.
That was it. It was kind of beautiful. It was.
He has appreciation for the fact that he is ignorant. He is ignorant and it is blissful.
Absolutely curated. It's on
Wow.
purpose, and he is not interested in changing it. A
Wow.
remarkable moment. We don't
That's
like
excellent.
to think incredible.
I'm sure I've told the story of my favorite feedback after a gig once, but
One quick addendum to that. Looked at the electoral map for that. All Tory. Heads up, just curious, in case you're wondering
I
who's
didn't
voting
need
for
you
them.
to tell me that.
I know it's just nice to say it out loud sometimes.
Yeah.
So
No, as
what
in,
was the-
I could have guessed from the story that it was all Tory.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the thing that was said to you after your show?
Yeah, one of my favorite feedback things was just I had done a gig at Monkey Barrel, and I think I've told this story before, but there was a group of men to the right of the stage, and they were all in the 50s, 60s ish. And I'd say there was maybe 6 of them thereabout. And they were just sort of muttering throughout the set. And it was annoying enough that I was noticing it, but I didn't think it was actually interrupting the room that much. So I didn't draw any attention to it. I kind of felt like I was the only one noticing it.
Bro.
And maybe just some of the people next to them. But it when it's just not enough to bother. But
John does
one of
not
them-
know what that means.
No, he doesn't. I know.
No.
I know. And he would have been mad at me for not drawing attention to it. But we're not all John.
Yeah, he would have wished a galaxy of late term abortions upon them.
Yes.
No, not right away. We get there. You don't always go there.
But
Sometimes
I
they
just
don't deserve that.
I assumed I just wasn't for them, and that's fair enough.
Hmm.
But one of them came up to me after the show, and I was a bit
Oh.
in the back of my mind. I was just like, right, here we go. What's he gonna say? And he just came up and he was just like, "My daughter's a lesbian, and I think she'd really love you."
Yeah.
There's something about old people in Scotland that they always want to surprise you. So they never
Yeah.
ever. It's the only
But
place
it was
where
just
like
it was he didn't say love. I think she would love you. I think she would love your material. I think it was what he said, which I just thought was so funny because I did not talk about being gay at all.
It just resonates off you.
It just resonated.
Yeah. I love that he at no point said I liked your material and I think my daughter would too. He just very calmly was like,
It's just
I'm
my
not
daughter
going to
would love
acknowledge
you.
how I feel about it. It's not important. What's important is I know someone who would love you.
I think that's
Yeah,
even better.
I just
that
thought
it's
it was
his daughter,
great.
That he's like, no, you don't like it. Doesn't. In many ways, I'm not going to like this, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to like
Yeah.
it because my daughter will like it, and that's better.
Which
No
is a
problem.
good relationship between a father and daughter. You should have different tastes.
He was really, really nice about it. But I think it was really nice of him to acknowledge that his daughter would enjoy it.
Mhm. Very
It's
funny
just
that he had to specify lesbian.
Yeah.
It heads
know.
up. I think I figured out
He
your
could have
target
just
demographic.
he could have just said, "My daughter would have really enjoyed this,"
Yeah.
but he had to say, "My daughter is a lesbian, therefore I think she would really."
You need
My daughter's
you
a
to know the
lesbian.
reason why
A
he
wink.
thinks she likes it.
I mean, maybe he was trying to set me up. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't worry, she got her looks from her mother. Huh?
Oh, that's great. Have you ever
I-
had somebody's parents try to set you up with them?
I had
Yeah.
one friend in high school whose dad just wanted us to get married, but in a very casual way. He was never it wasn't insistent. I've seen that with parents, but they're like, you guys are you guys should get married one day when you two are married, that kind of shit.
Right.
But he was just he trusted me and liked me. So I remember we went I convinced her not to go to university and to move to England with me. As a platonic friend.
Mhm.
Nothing romantic ever happened between the two of us. She's still one of my closest friends. But she was at a weird impasse where she wasn't sure what to do. I'd just gotten back from traveling. I was about to go back. And I was like, you're not ready for university right now? Just come with me to England. Worst case scenario, you miss a semester and you come back and you start university, but at least you tried something. And she told me when we were flying out there, she's like, I talked to my dad and she was like, who are you thinking about going with? And she was like, Chris. He went, oh yeah, then go.
Oh my days, that's brilliant. That is great. John, you had somebody try and set you up?
A few times. I've had it happen a few times. Like nothing like notable. Yeah.
You're definitely parent material, I think.
Oh fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which I'm always surprised by because the stand-up comedian really sneaks by them. They do not think about that. They're,
Mhm.
No.
yeah. Because they're like, well, what does that entail? Well, it's all right. Yeah. But yeah. When they then yeah. But it's fine. I dig
Well, that
it.
was like have you heard of Blaze Foley, a country music artist?
No.
Amazing guy, really great. Towns Van
Is he?
Zant's best friend. And they
That's me.
he was dating this girl. I was listening to a documentary about him. The Tales from the Tour Bus thing that I told you about, John. The Mike Judge
Yeah.
one. He's got an episode about him. And he was dating this girl, and Blaze Foley was this like 6'3", all hairy, like coat made of scraps of other coats, used to sleep on the floor under pool rooms in the venue. Dirtbag, beautiful songwriter. And so he said, she brought him home to meet her parents. She was hopelessly in love with him. She's like, meet my family. This giant Hagrid-esque character walks into their home, and the parents are terrified, like very upset. It's just like a nice suburban family. And this like ghoul walks in, and she said like it was the parents were freaking out. Like the mom almost started crying. And then like they went out to go and have like a parents meeting, you know, it's like, I need to, let's get some coffee. George, would you like to help me with a coffee? That kind of thing. And when they came back, he was sitting there and he just had a guitar and he was just playing one of his songs, and they immediately loved him. Immediately on a dime, saw it, and were in. And I feel like it's like a similar thing with John, where it's like comedian, tall, loud, but then like you get to know him and it's like so charming, so funny. This man will be fine. This man will be fine.
Yeah, you have safe energy.
Yeah.
That's true. It's always so funny. I always am fascinated by my girlfriend's parents' reactions to my friends, because it's that's a real rainbow coalition of wild.
Yeah.
So like that's always an interesting one of like, well, who's this man screaming at you from an SUV? Oh, that's Brendan. Yeah. Mention crypto or don't. I don't really know at this point. Who's that large man waving at you with no sleeves and wearing shorts in the winter? Oh, that's a professional wrestler I know. Yeah, I gotta go say hi to him. Yeah. Why is someone walking on his tippy toes? That man's name is Larry Dean, and he's pretty great, actually.
I had a really uncomfortable situation happen when I was 23. I was living with my parents and going to university at this time, and I was occasionally helping the neighbors across the road. The mother of that family had breast cancer, and we had sort of, while she was getting chemo treatments, we had been picking up the kids from school and stuff. We were just helping out, and so I got quite close to the family at that point. But this woman had a brother that came through who was helping out with the kids at a certain point as well. And apparently this brother developed a little bit of a liking for me.
Oh, boo.
But instead of approaching me like an adult, he went to his sister.
What?
To go to my parents.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
Weird.
To like,
I have honorable intentions for your daughter.
Pretty much that vibe.
How much for your women?
Weird. That like Fedora, my lady energy.
It was so uncomfortable, and my mother had to give me was going to give me his phone number, or I feel like I'm misremembering it now. I think I got a text. I think I got a text from him. I think my parents had told the neighbor that she could give her brother my phone number.
He has our blessing. We appreciate that he went through the proper channels.
But then my mother said, "Oh, this guy's probably going to send you, or he might call you, or give you a text or something." And I think at this point, my mother was just so desperate for me to date anybody that she just didn't She just didn't acknowledge that this was really a boundary cross in every pot. Like it was, he crossed a boundary, his sister crossed a boundary, and my parents crossed a boundary. And it was just like, I had to say to my parents, that's not okay in any way, shape, or form.
That's so wild. The idea of that you would go around you to your parent. I know how to woo her. I'll talk to her dad about boning.
Yeah. I remember when I was like 15 and I had my first like girlfriend. Like we were going steady.
Ooh.
And people talked about like, I don't know, talking to the dads, and it's important to pay respect, like weird, like not even like 1950s stuff, like 1800s stuff. That was just like weirdly, we didn't really know what it was, but it felt like it was important in the same way that like, John, remember we talked about this months ago, but in Canada, like if your girlfriend cheats on you, you are allowed to beat up that man.
No, not beat up. You can punch him in the face.
You can punch that man
One time.
One time.
But those kind of like weird.
What you're
we didn't really
forgetting,
question
Chris,
it.
what you're forgetting is that you are now interacting with or using or playing with, if you would like to put it that way, his property.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And that was why it was respectful. You don't borrow another man's plowshare without first making an offering and asking permission to, sow that field.
Oh, it's weird.
Did I word that just enough to make you very upset? I was trying to get it just right.
Yeah,
good,
you
good,
really
good, good, good,
nailed
yeah.
it. You absolutely nailed it. I'm
Yeah.
deeply upset.
But it
I'll
was a
hear
weird.
that all night.
We did feel that plowshare. We did. It's the plow's problem. The share is also a problem. John's got laser ears.
I think his speakers aren't working very well for him.
But yeah, I remember having that like in like conversations I was having with other like boys at the time, and that just all fell away. Thank God. But it was like it was there, but it's something that you grow out of. It's something that's a very silly, like you don't know how to talk to human beings. And so there's these structures where like you go around the thing that's scary for you and you talk to their parents or something, but you don't act on it. And how old were you when this happened? When was this?
I was 23.
That's so wild.
And how old was he?
This is the thing. He was like 33.
I was going to say, but he's in his 30s. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of like weird older guy definitely doesn't talk to women. Maybe I can trick this young girl.
Yeah, that guy really has a real imagined scenario about something that happened between him and a stripper one time that did not occur. You know what I'm saying?
No, John, she liked him. They had a real connection.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super weird.
Yeah.
I remember telling my therapist, and my therapist got really mad at my parents. I was just like, yes, that's a win in therapy, in the therapy world.
Have you ever seen your therapist catch themselves in a reaction? That was always my interesting one. I remember I once burst into tears, and it really, I remember like I saw that he was caught by surprise so quickly it happened, but it caught himself, like he was like,
my therapist has given up on the idea of like, he just tells me how he feels about stuff, which I think makes him a bad therapist. But he's just very like,
I thought a therapist is supposed to do, by the way. The more you talk about your therapist, I'm like, what kind of therapy are you doing?
He's the only one I've ever had.
Maybe you should try a new one.
But he's very nice. He's on my side.
I mean, if it works for you, though, it doesn't matter what a therapist does. There isn't really like a rule book. I mean, there is there is.
Brian
boundaries.
Wilson would disagree with you, Ashley, very vehemently.
But I think even if somebody's a little bit unconventional, if it works for you, then that's fine.
Yeah, I think I can. I already know that I'm going to have to move on because I'm going to need someone to like start asking me hard questions as opposed to being like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's like a pal. He's like closer to a pal. He's
So you're paying a friend.
Yeah, you need a new therapist, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need a new
Yeah.
therapist. I'm really
Yeah.
concerned that my therapist is going to die.
What a
Why? What have they been
a
saying
fucking
during
plot
your?
twist, madam.
He's just really old
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, it's been the same one forever, isn't it?
It's been the same one for 15 years, but he was already old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a therapist. What else? What is he holding on to?
I don't know.
His sense of duty.
Well, there's nothing. He's just like, yeah, like. But what I more mean is he's a therapist. Nothing's on his. He's not holding anything in. He could last forever. He could be 110. There's no stress in this guy.
Oh, that's what you mean. I thought you meant like in terms of
Oh, yeah,
living.
I didn't
Yeah,
What's he
understand what
holding
you
on
meant
to?
either.
Yeah.
That's why I explained more. Now we understand.
Yeah, he could really keep going. There was one session I
Wait.
had with him a few months ago though, where he was like, "Oh, don't worry about the noise in the background. I'm on an oxygen tank at the moment." I was like, "Okay."
Wait a minute. Is this guy like back in Ireland? Like, is he like
Yeah.
an old? Yeah, this guy's gonna
He's-
live forever.
He's
Here's the
gonna
thing that
live forever.
no one says about Irish people is if they can get over their health humps, which they don't always do, they can just keep on. It's one of those things where it's like, listen, if they make it to the 70s, they're making it to the hundreds. They just got to
Yeah.
make it to the 70s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happens before
Yeah.
then? Oh, they got to cut a lot of them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's the same in my family where everybody either dies when they're 52 or lives to 96. And once you cross that 60 line, buddy, you are never dying.
You're in
Congratulations.
for the long haul.
Woof.
Yeah.
I think
I
my
know-
grandmother died at 96. And even that was only because COVID got her. She was going nowhere. I guarantee she would have made it to 100.
Your grandmother died? I didn't even realize this. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it was for the best. She was very ill. It was,
Oh.
we all like breathed a sigh of relief when we
Yeah.
heard, and I felt terrible because like she died. And my first thought was like, oh, good. Just because like that was no
No,
way
I
to
think
live.
That's
And
fair.
I remember talking to my dad, and my uncle about it and being like, so how do you feel? And they were like, honestly, relieved. It was too long. It was no way to be.
Yeah.
So
I think
it
at a
was,
certain point, if you might technically be still breathing oxygen into your lungs, but you're not living. And
oh yeah.
and
she
and I
was-
don't think that's
No.
it's
And-
definitely better to just move on.
And she'd had like terrible Alzheimer's for 20 years, like
No. Goodbye.
so long.
Goodbye.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
so-
my grandmother was the same. She had 15 strokes over the course of 20 years.
Oh my
And
God.
she really was so incoherent towards the end of her life that like she just didn't know who anybody was.
Yeah, of
And
course.
it was one of those things where it was like they took such good care of her, but it's kind of like, did you take too good care of her? Like she really just didn't want to be there anymore. And it was mad because my granddad was quite coherent up until quite late, and then he just deteriorated so quickly.
Oh well.
And then my grandmother was told that he wasn't very well, and she was stable at this point, but she just
Mm.
died, lights out. As soon as she heard
Wow.
that he wasn't well, she was gone. And then as soon as my grandfather was told that she was dead, he just died. They died 36 hours apart.
Incredible. That's perfect.
And so they got to be buried together, and it was
Oh,
That's perfect.
Really neither one of them wanted to do the dishes. How Irish of them.
Right at the precipice of it getting terrible, just being like out by
just out. We're just done.
Perfect.
But I mean, the
Perfect.
thing is that it's really sad because they weren't together for the last several months at least. Because my granddad had to get taken to a hospital in Sligo, and my grandmother was in a hospital in Dublin. So I think they just missed each other.
Mm,
I think they just missed each other, and it's like, well, we'll
Yeah.
be together again if we just die.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, somewhere there's a handwritten letter of like, you in? I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always find it the weirdest when they die like a year later and they're always like, of heartbreak. It's like, A year later? No, they were just getting back on their feet, and the person that died like reached beyond the
No, I
grave and
think
went back with me.
I think you think you're going to get through it, and then at a certain point you realize, no, I just have to live without the person I love now, and it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and some people can face
I
that, and
think
some people
heartbreak
can't.
gets worse as you go on.
It can. Well, it depends. I mean, like that's sort of what happened to my dad. Is like basically after my mom died, he never recovered or tried to. He just sort of gave into it, and so now he's unwell. And the same thing happened to my grandmother. It was she was taking care of my grandfather for a long time, and then he died, and she didn't know what to do. She'd been sharp as fuck taking care of him. He was so sick, but it was all like he was mentally very sharp the whole time, but he was like stroke, cancer,
Oh.
all beat all of it. Living on pure spite, would still go and dance in old folks' homes just to be like, I get to leave, and
that's
then
the
he
best.
would go home. My grandfather was hilarious, but as soon as he died, steep slope down for my grandmother.
Oh.
And I think it was a combination of sadness and lack of responsibility. There was also like, well, what do I do with my time now? I've been taking care of this man for so long. And it was find something to do, guys. That's if you retire, if your parents are retiring, or if someone unfortunately dies, get them a hobby, get them out of the house because they need something.
I mean, modern kind of life looks at so much of like mental health and life satisfaction, and we're a lot more geared towards doing work that we enjoy and stuff like that now. You know, filling your life out with things that make you feel good or make you value yourself and your time. Whereas I think in previous generations, you basically got married, just did a job that kept you and your family alive, and just raised a family. And when your kids are gone, all you're really left with, and you're retired, all you're really left with is the person you've married. And I mean, if that's the kind of been the focal point of all of your kind of love and passion and drive, I think if you lose that and you just don't know what to do because you haven't had this life where you've filled it out with ambition and stuff, other things that keep you going.
Yeah. And no interest in it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do I like?
I really strive to do things that give me some sense of meaning, and I still find it really difficult to contemplate being alive.
And yet here you are, Ashley, doing this podcast.
Once again, podcasting, screaming into the chasm. Look at me making content.
Once again, making it a very somber affair.
No longer.
I just brought the vibe down so much. Why do I do that? I
disagree. We're both laughing. What was I going to say? Oh, about no. I also think that also what it is it's also just people are like old and like, oh, if they're dying, I'm dying too, and also. The other side of that is the amount of old women that just thrive for an additional 20 years. Their partner dies, and it's like, oh, it's so sad he's gone.
Oh, but nobody owns me anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's if you have that sense of purpose, if you're like, I have something I want to do, then you can keep living. But if you have nothing that's like pulling you towards it, nothing that you like want, then
you know, sucked into that void, baby.
It's very easy. You essentially become a pothead without the weed.
Yeah.
You're just like, I guess I'll do nothing. Okay. And you just wait around. It's fucking bleak. There's I remember reading this thing about, it's like an interview with nurses that work with terminal patients. And they were saying like, what do you say? Like, how can you deal with people that are terminal? Like right at the last minute, like, what are you supposed to do? And this one nurse is like, tell them it's okay to go. These selfish fucks that sit by the bed and are just like, don't die. And grandma's like, okay. And just struggling to just fucking stay alive. And like she said, it happens so often that this nurse was just like, listen, this is like a real thing. If you go, I love you, it's okay, let go. People just die right away.
I that makes a lot of sense to me though.
It's crazy though, right? That you could just choose to be alive.
Yeah.
It's a choice. They're just like,
I disagree with that nurse. That nurse's data set is so tainted by her just wanting to be right for this angry anecdote. Like, I guarantee no, it's not based on anything at all. It's just based on her anecdotal evidence of remembering the times she's right and not the times she's wrong.
I don't know, but it feeds into the placebo effect for me, where like the mind is so powerful that
Yeah.
even if a drug has nothing in it, your belief in it, like our thoughts have a lot of work in it. Like you can tell there's a difference between like how old people are when there are kids around and they can finally be like, oh, there's hope and joy in the world. There's not just what I'm doing. And all of a sudden everything like improves and they're fun and all of a sudden they don't limp anymore. Like so much of this is in our mind that it makes sense to me that you can be like, you can literally hold on to life out of pure stubbornness.
I think some of it's just I think it's just pure coincidence. I think there's a little bit of that, but it's not to the extent that it keeps your life force alive.
Can I ask, John, as someone who I know believes in science, why do you not believe this nurse with a lifetime of experience over your feeling right now?
There's a straight line from this into anti-masking.
I don't know. I just don't like. I just don't feel like she's done her research. I feel like she wants to be right.
Her research is her career.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not saying I'm not.
Such a great answer.
Also,
Whatever.
Also, first of all, no, I'm not. It's not nurse. It's this baldo down here. The nurse isn't here. It's his filter. We don't know what this fucking nurse said. She could've said
Now the nurse. It's not that the nurse is seeing what she wants. It's that I'm
That's my
remembering
point.
it wrong.
No, I'm
What a
going through
pivot.
all of my points. I've started with the nurse, and I've moved on to you. Don't try and what about me? I know how to debate as well, sir. Yeah. So pop that in your pipe and schmook it. So take that.
I am starting a job tomorrow.
What kind of job?
As a terminal nurse.
Nurse?
As a terminal nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in a hospice care area?
Hospice care, yeah. No, I fucking landed a job on a TV show which I've been trying to get for the past year, and I'm fucking delighted. I'm behind an NDA now, so I can't actually talk about it, but we're very excited and it's really fun. And I've spent the whole weekend getting my gear together. Like,
Is it going to
I don't really need. Go
What
on.
gear?
if we
Gloves?
guess the show?
Is it Batgirl 2?
Actually, I'm not gonna name the show, but here's my guess. It involves you now having a big brother who's a celebrity.
Fuck's sake.
Does it rhyme with Mishmeshman?
I don't know what
So
that's
you heading-
supposed to be.
Ashley, are you heading?
I
to
was
an
too good at
island?
my secrecy.
You were too good at your secrecy. I don't know what that was supposed to
Ashley,
be.
are you heading to an island of love?
Imagine.
Are you
Imagine
trying
me on fucking Love Island?
so
Oh my
sweaty?
God.
Oh, I would love it though. I would just.
I feel like you'd spit in
Wreak
the handsome
havoc.
man's mouth. Just "Tuh,"
Yeah.
like
You would work your way on to the set. You would gradually become part of the Love Island because all the guys would be like, I want to fuck that audio girl.
You know that, Chris, this is another reference to Sunshine of Your Love. But you know that scene in Goodfellas when it focuses on Jimmy Burke's eyes and he decides to kill everyone for the Lufthansa heist?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like Ashley, but with sexual tension. Oh no 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 do 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 do. That's what it would. Oh my god! And that's when Ashley decided to fuck everyone.
Okay, let's keep guessing shows. Ashley, is it a show that's trying to decipher whose line it is?
Oh, Ashley, will you have any news for us?
It's all of these amazing shows that are filmed in Glasgow. Anyway, the thing I wanted to get down to was the fact that I've been packing my bag to go on set. And the whole time I've been doing it, I've been thinking how much of a hard time you guys would give me if you could see everything that I'm
Show us what's
wearing.
in the bag. Show us what's in the bag. Show us what's
I'm
in
gonna
the
take myself off for a
bag.
second because my bag's over there. I'll be back in a second.
Yo.
Okay.
Oh,
Why can't we watch her go get her back? Why did she have to take off the screen
Why
to?
don't you just let the show business magic happen?
I get it's it's just we've all sort of done very silly things on the stream, and I feel like walking across the room to get a bag is on the lower end of that.
It's a little thing called razzle dazzle, Chris. Razzle dazzle. Check this
That's
out.
right. Bert Kreischer invented it.
Farted that whole time. I haven't been able to get through that special yet. I loved his other two. I haven't been able to get past the third
Did
joke.
you love his other two? I do not rate him as a stand-up. The Machine Story is remarkable, but
The
other
Machine
than
Story
that,
is amazing. I really like when he talks about his daughter's periods.
Oh my god, so
yeah.
funny.
It's great, and it's just. I think it's really, really. I know it seems rudimentary, but I just think it's really cool to see a dad talking about periods. I just think it's great.
oh, you should watch Chad Daniels. He has a great story about preparing for his daughter's first period.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I should do that. Chad Daniels.
Oh my god, he's great.
Yeah, Chad Daniels is amazing.
Do you know what's so stupid? I just typed Chad and my fingers automatically filled in Michael Murray.
Oh wow! Not Kroger. Chad Michael Murray is the JTT of
90210 or
Ashley's
whatever.
age.
What did he do? Is he
Um,
old Simba's voice?
No, he was
That
in
deserved more. That deserved
Cinderella
more
Story.
Oh, gross.
And what else was he in?
Is
I
that
don't
a
know.
Russell Crowe movie?
He was
How
in One
often-
Tree Hill. That's the one.
How
Wow.
often are you searching Chad Michael Murray, Ashley?
I'm not.
And,
It's
and
just,
where are those gloves? Well, you do it.
Yeah. Are those gloves
I
in
don't
your
think I've ever
alleged
searched
bag?
Chad Michael Murray. But
And
anyway,
yet we
okay.
find ourselves
I
here.
have a bag, right?
Go ahead.
I I really made a point of going out to buy these things so that I could have a really nice organized bag.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I went in. I bought these little kind of see-through zip-up bags so that I could have like little different ones for different things that need to
Yeah,
have them.
organized.
Oh, that's so great.
When I went into the shop, they just happened to have ones that had like glittery letters on them.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
So I got an M for medication.
Nice. Look at all those drugs. That's so
Wow.
many drugs.
Wow.
I mean, I wanted to be that person who has like paracetamol and ibuprofen. I
Oh, really?
can't even
'Cause it
take ibuprofen,
you-
but I just have some in there because I want to be that guy.
You
Oh,
want to
that's
be
not-
Morgan
that's not-
Freeman in Shawshank Redemption?
Sure. And then I
Ashley
have
was not like the other
Diorolite.
sound technicians.
I have Diorolite for anybody who gets dehydrated.
There you go.
I have dental floss because you never know.
Hey,
You
And
do never know, especially if there's Spanish
never
at craft services. It really helps you
whenever,
out.
like most of the time, you don't need dental floss, but when you do, you really fucking need dental floss.
Also,
Absolutely
Ashley, is there
correct.
anything more intimate than flossing another person's teeth?
I want you to be murdered, and I want to be the one. To
I've
do it.
never ever considered flossing somebody else's teeth until right now this second, and I do not
wanna
want
throw
to
a-
do it.
Just
I have
one of
my
your
little-
fingers in their mouth, but only one?
I have a
wanna
little parcel of
Cheeks
band-aids.
with hedge clippers.
And then I have my emergency medication for nausea.
Hmm.
Do you know what? I'm just getting a phone call that I actually really have to take. I'm gonna have to come back in a
Well, that's
second.
fine. We have
Take it.
We're,
Take it.
You take it. Go. 30
I've
seconds
been-
left. Chris. How do you feel?
I feel good. My for the last 15 minutes, if you're wondering why I've been on an angle, it's because the charging port in my phone isn't working. I need to clean it out, and so I have to use wireless charging. But my phone was going to die, so I'm holding the pad up with my phone, and the cable is not quite long enough for me to sit where I was sitting.
What an absolute wild time we're having. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've fulfilled contractual obligation. The show is now in overtime. We're in overtime.
Are we? We're at
Overtime.
44 minutes. 44 minutes.
45 minutes, according to the counter clock I'm looking at right now.
What? It says 44, 16, 17, 18 on the recording. The
Says
red square.
Live 45:16 on mine.
StreamYard's getting wacky tobacco out here. I was given a
Well.
free joint with cigarettes that I bought the other day, and Canada is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, on that note, Canada is a pretty cool place. We will see you next week. We love you.
We love
us.
you. Good luck, Ashley, with your new job. Yay.
Ashley. And we've actually remembered to hit all the posts this time. Check out this old lady talking about sex.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. That's all.
Question is, will I remember to turn off the stream before turning off the old lady? Oh, there's only one way to
That's
find out.
called
I was wondering exactly that when it played.
Some people call it
Yeah.
having sex.
I wonder it as well. Well, we'll have to wait and
So the
see.
man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her.
We're still waiting to see and find out.
Maybe
I love the
you're
way she
wondering
says, and now
if
his
a
sperm
mistake could be made
is in
when
her.
having sexual intercourse. That can't
Fair
happen.
exchange. That can't happen.
Oh,
Hey.
look at that. There's a plot twist. Here, check that out. That's weird,
I was
huh?
dead, but now I'm back.
my
Easter.
That's
Happy Easter.
all. Penis into her vagina. That's all.